Hello, and welcome back to Seth 2.0 TV. And welcome to Star Assist. Oh my god, that fucked up. Oops, excuse my language. Not really. Alright, so, welcome to Star Citizen. Version 1.0. After 4 hours of trying to figure out a bug that prevented me from logging in. Yep. 4 hours of solving a patch bug. However, I have solved that. If you're on the Star Citizen forums, I have posted a guide to how I solved that issue. So please check it out. I'll put a link in the description if you are interested. So, new noises of me stomping around. Cool. And, let's... Oh, man, I'm trying to remember how to do this. There we go. Oh! Hair! Okay. That's interesting. I'm twisted. And I look like I'm hunched forward. At least I feel like he's actually has weight or something. Okay, what the heck just happened there? Okay, there we go. Whatever. Okay, so version 1.0 brings about a whole bunch of cool stuff. They've implemented oh man. Okay, yeah, they implemented the new identification system, if you will. New detection system. Pretty much you have three different sources or three different signal sources that your ship generates and that sensors pick up, and that's how they can spot you. And there's different targetings for each of the different systems, and there's different detections for each of the different systems, and balancing them is ultimately what is going to allow you to be stealthy, if you will. They've implemented ways to hide that information as well. So the Ghost and the Mustang Delta, which brand new release by the way, are now in the game, and their stealth systems supposedly work. And my palm just flipped backwards. Cool. Yeah. Anyways, so they've also implemented missiles. Lots and lots of missiles. They have EM missiles, IR missiles, and yes, I'm calling them missiles. They've brought in cluster missiles. They've brought in speedy missiles. They've brought in different racks, if you will, different mounting points for missiles. They brought in a few extra guns, including a ballistic, I think it's ballistic, burst cannon, if you will. I think it's the same one that was in the bug smashes, or whatever they call it, on Around the Verse. They brought in a new neutron cannon, I believe, and some other stuff. They've released all of the Aurora models, including the ones that were previously limited. Or still are limited. I can't remember. But they're out there and you can play them now. They released all the different Mustangs, and by the way, that is a sexy ship. Very much so, a sexy ship. Um, and one of the Mustangs is a stealth ship, so now the Ghost isn't the only stealth ship, so this should be interesting. The three different systems that they pretty much implemented are infrared, which is IR, and that is pretty much, that's your heat source. That's literally what it sounds. Infrared is a light wavelength that is infra of the red light length. That's why it's called infrared. Anyways, I know they're not very good about naming things in the science community. Anyways, but yeah. So pretty much the way that's going to work is your ship's going to build up heat from firing things, from just randomly running. It's kind of like your PC. And that is going to have a cooling system that's going to pull that heat away and disperse it into space. It will take time to disperse things into space. There will supposedly be some better cooling systems, so think the difference between air cooling and water cooling your PC. And some other things. It will take time, and it's not like the heat's not going to be there when you're shooting, it's just going to dissipate faster. So you need to be able to manage that. So going around and shooting, miniguns everywhere is not necessarily going to be the best thing for you if you're wanting to stay stealthy. Then you have your electromagnetic. This is essentially a power signature. When your ship is on, it generates power. When it starts shooting lasers and regenerating shields and all those other things, and it has to produce more power to do that. And draw more power from the reactor or the energy source or whatever, the power plant. You will produce more energy, and that will increase your energy signature. And that is your EM, your electromagnetic. And then finally, you have your cross section, and this is traditional radar. In the real world, a cross section is essentially your radar signature. And something I'm really psyched about this, and it's not something that's been done in pretty much any other video game that I've ever heard of, including most Sims. I'm not sure if some of the other ones are, but I haven't heard if they do. I think Ace's simulation program does, but I'm not sure on that. Anyways, but essentially, just like in the real world, if your ship is facing broadside, it will have a bigger cross-section from the signal that's hitting it. If it's facing directly on... a second. Whoop. Oh, I can actually do that. That was cool. It will have a smaller cross-section than if it was on the side or at an angle. That's a cross-section. Now, just like in the real world and how real world stealth works, you have a skin, if you will, or a paint job or something like that, that makes your ship more stealthy. This is the Delta, this is the Ghost, and I'm hoping, please CIG, please, 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 it has to have this, the Avenger. Seriously, look at the, hold on a second here. Let's go look at the Avenger and tell me that this does not look stealthy. Come on. Seriously. And broken wrist. Now tell me that this thing, the Avenger, does not look stealthy. It not having a traditional stealth... I mean, this almost looks like a stealth fighter. It almost does. Like, how does this thing not have a stealth version? I want it to have a stealth version. It needs to have a stealth version. It needs to have a stealth version CIG. Anyways. So, as I was saying, that paint job or that skin or whatever will reduce your cross section. Other than having that kind of thing, or just having a plain smaller ship, you will not be able to reduce your cross section unless you're getting stuff blown off. But I'm not sure if that's actually simulated into it or not. But yeah, and then finally, here's how countermeasures are working now. Previously, in the previous versions, countermeasures essentially worked by saying, pop out a flare, chaff, whatever you want to call it, and essentially it's putting a debuff on the missile. Now, what they're doing is they're directly interfacing with the system that actually spots things, your spotting system. So, chaff actually works like chaff does in the real world. For those that don't know, chaff is a World War II invention, believe it or not, where essentially they took a crap ton of tin and aluminum and other scraps of metal, and they cut them up into tiny little ribbons and then confettied them out the back of a plane or a series of bombers, or made a bomb drop and blow up midair, or something, a random delivery method. Anyways, the point being is it's a cluster of metal strips that create noise or a signature on a system. And pretty much the way that happens is it makes a big glob, and the radar sees a big glob. It sees a giant cross-section. How this is going to work in game, according to everything I've seen, I haven't actually played yet, but everything that I've seen on the developer blogs and reading the patch notes, I know is an amazing thing, is that it's going to essentially create a bunch of particles into space. And that is going to create noise. And that noise is part of a calculation that determines whether or not you can actually be seen or not. Because there's an actual algorithm that's in the system, and they put it up on... Chris Roberts, I believe, put it up on the post, on the version launch post. But there's an algorithm that determines your signature, the background noise, or the background signature, if you will, and some other variables that determines your signature. So by increasing the noise, it makes it harder to be seen. Now, I don't know if there's going to be different chaff for the 3 different forms, if they're throwing chaff as a general thing, where it's like it pops and it blankets out noise on all 3 spectrums of the scanning. Don't know. But it will be, supposedly you will be able to pop it, supposedly, and it'll persist for a time period. So you could use it to block a signal. You could hide in it to not be seen, kind of like an ECM. Granted, you won't be able to see out, but you'll be able to visually see. It could work. It'll be rather kind of interesting to see how people are using this. And finally, I know I'm pretty much just running around doing nothing. Finally, there's going to be a means, if you will, of regulating these different systems. as well as doing other kinds of improvised type things where if you're fast enough, you can run behind a object of some kind or fly through a hole in an asteroid or something, and it will noise out or blank out or hide, whatever, however you want to put it, your signature, much in the same way as a chaff missile was. So even if you don't have countermeasures, which a lot of these ships don't, um, you are capable of essentially hiding them without countermeasures, which will be kind of interesting, especially for something like the M50, which I still don't agree should be used as a combat vehicle, even though it's OP. It's a racer to me. It should be used as a racer. That's just my opinion. Anyways, and so yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. That's the new launch and the new videos. I will be coming in here shortly and giving you a walk around of the Delta and probably, or the Mustang Delta and probably the Ghost. And over the next couple of hours, I am planning on doing walk-arounds through all the ships in my hangar that are currently in the hangar. And bust those out of the way. So look forward to those. And I plan on putting out a bunch of videos over the next couple of days. Primarily because of the fact that I won't be here doing more videos for you. So I don't know if I'm going to stagger their releases via automatic upload or automatic posting dates. I'm not, or if I'm just going to post them all out in one big thing. I don't know. I've been kind of slacking on that, but there's a video out there right now that pretty much explains that. So go look at the vlog. Anyways, woo! Yay, meow, meow, meow. Alright, I will see you guys next time on Seth 2.0 TV. And please remember to subscribe and like the video. Thank you very much, and have a great day. And I will see you in the verse.